case based Dr. Subhash Prasad. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Alan. I am thankful to you for giving me the opportunity to be in your session. We all know that cataract surgery has slides not coming. Cataract surgery has gone a long way, and nowadays the aim of the surgery is to give as maximum possible in spectacle independence to the patient as possible. And this has been possible because of the various reasons like proper evaluation of the patients right from the ocular surface to the macula, using the optimized IOL constants, appropriate IOL formula, and choosing the appropriate IOLs, and not to forget that the appropriately done and properly done surgery is very important. We all agree that hydrophobic acrylic single piece lens with C-loop square is design is the lens of choice nowadays, except in certain situations. Before we implant any lens, we need to investigate certain questions. We need to assess the patient's goal, not the surgeon's goal, because many of the patient may be just happy with the reading glasses. So it's not always better to push the patient for the multifocal or any other lens. Ask the patient what is the requirement, the job, the profession. If a patient is patient needs independence with the spectacle, you can ask the patient for multifocal, trifocal, but you have to choose those patients only where it cannot produce any problem. Like if the patient is it drives in the night, then it's not a good choice. If the patient works most of the time with the computer, then you can go with the other top lenses. And what is the patient expectation? Those with unrealistic expectation certainly must not be given multifocal or trifocal lenses, and always look for any associated astigmatism, because if the astigmatism part is not corrected, then the quality of the vision or the outcome won't be better. So it's always to address those problems also, and always do some special use the special formulas for outliers like high hypermetropia or high myopia, those cases, and patients with previous laser vision corrections and radial keratotomy. And if you encounter any problem, then you have to decide which IOL will be best in this patient. To start using the toric lens, let me ask how many of you are using toric lenses in your clinical practice? Significant of the number of the attendants are still not using, but I would say that this is one of the lenses which can definitely create a lot of happiness to the patients. And you know that there is this astigmatism is a big problem. Nearly 20% of the patient, they do have astigmatism of nearly 10, say about 10% have two diopter of astigmatism. So these patients actually need toric correction, toric lens implantation. Sir has shown which formula and many other things like for toric implantation you need to have proper evaluation of the corneal astigmatism, and it would be better here to identify or just to prove, just to confirm the axis with the topographer, but the IOL master or any other optical biometer, even the manual keratometry would be good enough. So never be of shy of using those machines, and never think that I will start using toric lenses only when I do have this optical biometer. So you can start even with the lower gadget, lower end machines available to you. It involves only two additional steps. That is the marking of the cornea, that is called reference axis, before starting the surgery, and then the final alignment of the lens on the desired axis of the placement. And to get best out of the toric lenses, you have to see that it is there in the position. So it is always should be placed in the bag with adequate covering of the optics, and there should be thorough cleaning of the OVD behind IOL. Many of us had some surprises even with the toric lenses earlier, because we are not considering the posterior corneal curvature. So giving attention to the posterior corneal curvature is again important, and there is a nomogram available which you can refer to for choosing the proper power. And nowadays Barrett toric calculator is available, where even if you don't actually measure the posterior corneal curvature, there is a algorithm to automatically calculate both the magnitude and the orientation, and that can fairly give you the power of the cylinder power of the eye. But it will be better always to actually measure the posterior corneal curvature by using different machines available. Nowadays IOL Master 700 TK is available with the posterior corneal curvature measurement, and here you can see that if you don't consider the posterior corneal curvature, you can have actually under correction was 0.43 diopter. So even sometimes 0.5 diopter or the under correction can be there if you don't take into consideration the posterior corneal curvature. Now coming to the another case scenario, it's 48 years lady school teacher, hypermetropic. The IOL power was 31 diopter and the cylinder was 3 diopter. And we all know that the toric lenses come up to 30 diopters. So what would be the better choice in this patient? So I thought it's better to use the toric lenses and slightly undercorrect the hypermetropia, because the leaving the astigmatism will cause little more visual problems. So I used the 30 diopter of lens with the toric correction, and surprisingly the patient was very happy and almost 6 by 6 parts without any correction. So in this situation you can just omit some spherical correction and can go for the toric if the toricity is higher. This is a case of traumatic cataract. You can see that the cylinder is nearly 3.82 diopter, and it's well said that the toric lenses should be done only when the cornea is showing symmetrical astigmatism. But I thought the central part of the cornea is very clear, only the periphery of the cornea is involved. So I took a chance and I implanted toric lens here. And surprisingly, the patient was very happy, and just 0.5 diopter of the astigmatism was left. So that is very gratifying as a surgeon for us and for the patient also. So even in this situation where you can find that the cornea, central cornea is very much clear and the opacity is in the periphery part, you can still go ahead with the toric lens implantation. This is just one example that sometimes you will end up with the problem during the surgery. This was the patient who had toric IOL implanted in the other eye and had a toricity of the astigmatism of 3 diopter. I met an accident during the implantation of the lens. You can see that lens suddenly came out of the injector and there was PC rent is about to sink. Then I pulled the lens and I thought I will do a reverse optic capturing of this IOL, because I did not want the patient to have a residual refractive error of 2.5 or something like that after surgery. So I just did the reverse capturing, and you can see that it is properly aligned now, and post-operatively the patient was very happy. And since there was vitreous was not I'm not sure you can make out the margin of the capsule here. So even in this situation you can use the toric lenses. Another case of toric IOL implantation, you can see here what went wrong here. Patient had after toric lens implantation, patient was unhappy, patient vision was 612 only, and post-op keratometry was showing little less of the astigmatism as compared to the pre-op. Then what went wrong? I assessed the patient, I could see that, you can see here the meibomian broth. So it's very important that the ocular surface must be assessed very well before doing IOL power calculation, and these are the patients who can actually give different reading, different reading during the keratometry, and that can actually impact the surgical outcome. And coming to the presbyopia correction lenses, how many of your patients actually complain of the night vision problem? And how many of you are using actually multifocal? I think that some of you are using, but it's not important only to implant the lens, the trifocal or multifocal, but what is important is to choose those patients where you can end up with the problem. So it's always, this is the condition of presbyopia correction lenses, that here you actually try to exclude those patients where the outcome won't be good. It's always better to have a perfect centration of these lenses to get the best outcome, because the visual axis and the optical axis of the lens should coincide. So where the concept of the alpha angle and the kappa angle lies actually. And also one has to see that there is no higher order, much higher order aberration of these patients. So angle alpha actually, if it is more than 0.5, then you should better not implant trifocal or this multifocal lenses. And also Jernicke analysis, if the 6 millimeter zone higher order aberrations, if it is more than 1.3, then it should not implant that. So those, if you don't have access to these machines, then it's always better to explain to the patient that you can have problem, this problem, that problem, and probably you don't choose those patients where night driving is actually done by patient, and it's better to use those patients where it's a housewife or this kind of patient. Another example, wanted spectacle free after the surgery, had significant astigmatism. The options are trifocal with LRI and toric trifocal. So I went here with the trifocal toric lenses. Here the angle kappa. If you don't have access to angle alpha eye trace, you can use the angle kappa also, according to Halliday. So here it was less than 0.4 millimeters. So I went ahead, and a higher order aberration was also less. So the patient has very good outcome. Just you can see just this much of the power here, and patient had good outcome. So you have to do certain things before implanting trifocal or toric lenses. Do I have time? 1 minute. Okay. Here this patient was not satisfied after the IOL and kept coming to me, implanted trifocal panoptics, and eye trace was asked for. I don't have eye trace, so I sent the patient to somewhere, and you can see here the angle alpha is too high, so that was the reason. So the patient was not very happy. In situation where the patient actually has a lot of driving, night driving, that's better not to use trifocal. If he is insistent on spectacle free, then better to use EDOF IOLs. Probably I don't have time, so I don't go into post-refractive surgery patients. There are some examples also, but sir was talking about the topography. Just one line about those patients where you need topography. Actually, here if you don't get consistent reading in the post-RK patients, you need to do topography. But again, the central reading has to be taken for calculating the IOL power. So this was again example. So I'll just stop here. To conclude, the best IOL is the one that was best for the patient, and you have to actually modify your plan and choose the IOL which actually does not produce any problem to patient also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.